Hi, fire signs. Happy New Year, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Happy belated birthday, all the Sages out there. I don't know if I wished you guys a happy birthday, but if I didn't, happy birthday. My name is Michelle Kelly. Welcome to This Is Your Sign. If you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you will be notified every time I do a video. So fire signs, January, love. Let's get into your love life. All right, guys, I said a prayer over my heart and shuffled your cards. This is the second time I'm recording this video, so your cards are already out. But the first one is TikTok. The next one is the tribe, and it's upside down. And your next one is flexible, and it is upside down. So what these cards are telling me, that maybe you've been on a time clock, or you feel like your clock is ticking, and you need some answers right away, and that maybe this person is not turning out to be who you thought they were, and that you tried to be flexible, but it is just, you can only be so flexible, bending, not breaking, but it's turned your life upside down. So fire signs, let's get more into your love life, because you know what, in the end, everybody just wants to be happy. I want you to be happy. God wants you to be happy. And you know what? Trial and error. Nobody is good at relationships. We are all a work in progress, and we're just learning as we go. So TikTok, timelessness, divine timing, immeasurable time, love, the fulfillment of desire, and even the body's reproductive cycles have their own timetable. Some things are preordained and cannot be coerced. Everything has its season, its divine and appropriate timing, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. Remember that you always have enough time for love, to find it, to nurture it, and ticks according to the beating of your heart in the perfect rhythm. Isn't that wonderful to know? Love is always right on time. You might be thinking, yeah, right, this is not true. I know that maybe you had your heart set on something and it's not working out the way you think you want it to, but you know what? Sometimes things have a better way of sometimes always, things have a better way of working out, better than we can imagine. And I'm sorry if you're in pain and hurting and things are not going according to your plan, but this is saying there is a better plan for you, and for your heart to be happy. You don't want to be with somebody who's not right for you, just to have a kid, or just because you think your biological clock is ticking. A lot of times, forcing things to happen, you can do that because there's free will, but there's also consequences with that. But I want to tell you, having a baby, that is a gift from God always, and that is never mistaken. It's never wrong. But if you haven't had a child yet and you're in a hurry and you're thinking, oh my God, I have to make this happen. Sometimes you're meant to parent other people's children. Sometimes you're meant to be a pet parent. Sometimes you end up in a relationship with somebody who already has kids and they need you. So having your own child biologically does not, if you're not able to do that right now, it doesn't mean you're not meant to, but sometimes it means maybe you're meant to be somebody else's parent. Maybe that child's already here on this earth and they're looking for you and they need you. So it doesn't always have to come out of your body for you to be somebody's parent. So just so you guys know that. The next one is community, belonging, being seen and understood, like-minded connections, a sense of family and friendship, knowing your place in the world. You're discovering the essential qualities that you share with another. Perhaps also there are those you don't share. There are times when you follow and the other person leads, and a time when you lead and the other person follows. The appearance of this card is to point to the important to learning the proper dance between you and another. Accepting the truth that everyone has flaws is part of that dance. You are also being asked to be aware of the dynamics that you don't want to repeat. You're in the perfect place to make changes in order to experience the best version of who you can be together. When this card is reversed, and it is, maybe you have been dancing with somebody and you guys are so out of rhythm. Like you wanted them to be, can I have this dance for the rest of my life? I don't know if you've ever heard that song. I think it's by Anne Murray. Can I have this dance for the rest of my life? And maybe this person that you're with, you guys are so out of sync, and you're realizing this is not right for you right now, and the fear that's gripping you of like, I'm never gonna find love, or maybe I'm meant to be single forever, or there is not anybody out there. That is not true, but this looks like you're in the process of ending something, or it's not working out for you. And maybe it's really hard for you to accept and acknowledge. And honestly, that's hard for everybody. But when your relationship is not working out, this is not a personal hit on what is wrong with you, that you are not lovable, and that you don't need to be somebody else in order to be with somebody. Like asking you, it's one thing to compromise. Like a compromise is like one person, it's not one person wins and another person loses. It's you both don't get your way, or maybe you do something that the person wants to do one time and they do what you want to do another time. But like, I'm going to give you an example. When I was married to my ex-husband, like, I always gave in. I just did whatever he wanted. And over time, it just got easier because I didn't want to hear the raft of what if I didn't. I wasn't ready for that, because I knew once I said this wasn't right for me, that everything was going to change. And I lived in a lot of fear, and most of it was financial fear of like, if I say I don't want this anymore, like, holy shit, I'm going to have to move. And how am I going to support myself? So there was a lot of fear there, but I didn't know it at the time. When you're in this stuff, you really don't know it. You really believe whatever you have to believe in order to survive, in order to stay, in order to make it right. But, you know, I gave in. And then if he did something that I wanted to do, and he came to an event that I wanted to go to and he didn't really like it or want to come, if he went to see a movie that he didn't want to see, he would like breathe heavy and sigh in my ear, like, and it was almost like he had to intentionally try and ruin what he was doing for me. But like when I went to things for him, I actually tried to enjoy myself. I tried not to let him know like, oh, I really don't want to be here and this totally sucks and look what I'm doing for you. But when he came to things that he didn't want to do, he always let me know that he did not want to be there. And honestly, it was horrible. It was like, I'm sorry I brought you. Like, I would have had more fun going by myself. So it takes a long time before you're able to say this isn't right for me, because there might be consequences that you're not willing to deal with right now because you're afraid. And this is normal. It is normal to think like, holy shit, my biological clock is ticking, or no one's ever going to want me, or no one's ever going to love me, or I need to be somebody else in order to be with somebody. And this flexible upside down is telling me like, You don't need to be a contortionist. And I don't know if you guys know what a contortionist is, but it's a person that can like do like there was a Planters peanut commercial years ago, and this girl could move her body in ways that nobody can. It's like a miracle. It's like being double jointed. Like when you bend your elbow this way, some people can turn it inside out. I can't do that, but it's saying like you're trying to bend yourself in ways that a human being should not ask or try to be bent in. So this is like you're compromising your soul. And in order to be with somebody, please don't do that. Please do not do that to yourself. It makes you physically ill eventually. What happens when you give in and you do things that aren't right for you? You can kid yourself sometimes, like mentally, but usually it'll come out in anxiety, panic attacks, severe depression, headaches, stomach issues, rheumatoid arthritis, your body hurting, getting weird shit like sickness wise. When you are not being true to who you are, a lot of times we're not able to acknowledge this stuff until we get physically sick from it. So this is saying, please don't make yourself physically ill in order to stay with somebody. That is your body's way of telling you, and your soul's way of telling you, this isn't right for you, and you need to listen to it. But guess when you'll listen to it? Exactly when you're supposed to. Not because I'm telling you this relationship isn't right. The cards are saying that this relationship might not be the best one for you. It's not telling you to leave it. It's not telling you to get out of it, but it's almost permission and confirmation to say, you're not crazy. Your gut never lies to you. And when you're not able to acknowledge things, a lot of times it has to get physical first. So if this is starting to happen to you, just look at it as a red flag that you need to pay attention to, but this is not there's something wrong with you and you're unlovable, and that you're defective, because you're not. You're wonderful. You come from God. You're made from love, and you're perfect exactly the way you are, and you don't need to be a contortionist in order to get somebody to love you. And if you were taught that, I'm really sorry, it's not true. Just so you know. All right. I'm doing more for your love reading. Okay, it says separation, sadness, missing you, thinking about you, yearning, unsure of the future. So it says you might be in separation right now, or maybe you guys were separated and you got back together, but it says the sword and the rose, clarifying truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, power. So maybe you're having an internal struggle right now and you just like, you're not sure what to do, but it says not today. Not dealing, hurt, avoiding a conversation, call, person, boundaries, still angry. Okay, guys, so like I'm going to tell you something that I heard long ago. It stuck with me and I never forgot about it. If the milk is sour today, it is not fresh tomorrow. So what happens is if you were in separation and somebody comes to you and says, no, that's not true. I love you. I'm going to be different. I changed. I changed. I promise. Like, unless you are doing physical acts to change, like going to counseling, talking to a therapist, going to rehab, getting help, outside help, you cannot change on your own just because you say you're going to. And this is saying not today, not dealing, hurt, avoiding a conversation, boundaries, still angry. So this person hasn't changed. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it takes a lot of pain before you're able to change, or the other person is able to change. And staying with somebody because you feel sorry for them is not a reason to stay. And even when you have a shit ton of help, professional help, you're doing things to change, to be different, to be better, it is still so hard. So even with all of the resources, it is hard. So if this is just somebody coming back to you saying, oh baby, I love you, I miss you, I'm so sorry, let's work this out, we can have a family together, if you want to have kids together, we can have kids, and they're just throwing things at you just to keep you, if the milk is sour today, it is not fresh tomorrow. And having boundaries, getting them, keeping them, it's not easy. But these cards are telling me that you need to respect yourself and trust that there's a better alternative for you. I know it's hard to believe that, especially when it's happening. When you're in the midst of it, or maybe you're in the process of getting out of something right now. So these are just, you know, this isn't Michelle said, ends my relationship or not to stay with the person. That's not what this is saying. This is just saying, like, you guys, you can trust yourself. Listen to your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it's because it's not. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I made a mistake. It's okay to say, I was right the first time. So this says, calling in your soulmate, wedding, pay attention to the red flags. So this is somebody who you really thought was your soulmate. It says your prayers, your affirmations, visualizations help bring you together. And then it says wedding. This situation involves marriage. So maybe you were married to this person, you are married to this person, but it says pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. So you guys, okay, what does a soulmate mean? This means a lot of times your soulmate, you guys are meant or were meant, destined to be together because you both needed to teach each other lessons. And just because somebody's your soulmate does not mean you're meant to stay with them for the rest of your life. What it means is that you were here, you were divinely led to be together. Everything is always divinely led. So you were divinely led to be together, and you really thought, like, oh my God, this is my person. And maybe you got married to this person, and then you're like, I'm not sure about this anymore, or what if this isn't right, but I made a commitment and I made a vow and all of this. It just says, pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. If you don't believe in divorce or don't believe in separation, like, God made divorce attorneys for a reason. And you know what? Everything is not all one-sided. It's both sides. So for whatever reason, you guys needed to be together to learn your karmic lessons. This is saying, I think you have learned them. You are learning them. When you're ready, you will do something about it, and not a second before then. I hope you're not beating the shit out of yourself, fire signs. We all were not taught how to have relationships. They're not like, they start off like the movies, but they usually don't end like that. We don't get a manual. But what I can tell you is, please take care of yourself. You're not being selfish. And it's okay to be well, and you are allowed. And if somebody cannot show up for themselves, they will not be able to show up for you. So what that is saying, if you ask somebody to go to counseling and they rejected you and said no, they can't show up for themselves. They're not able to show up for you. they can't show up for you because they can't even show up for themselves. So this is not a personal hit or rejection against you, but this situation is saying it is not all you and it is not one-sided. So fire signs, I wish I had better news to give you for your love life for the month of January, but maybe what you got out of this is some confirmation and some validation and maybe some permission that it's okay to take care of yourselves. So fire signs, this is your sign signing off.